Hello guys and welcome to another installment of A Computers and Technology. Today we are going to swap around some hard drives, install some operating systems, and get some of these computers I have in front of me back online. So this is my Dell Latitude 2120 right here. I'm going to take the Silicon Power 120GB solid state drive that's in this Dell Inspiron 15 and throw it into this laptop. And I'm going to take the 16GB Kingspec solid state drive that I have in this laptop and throw it into this Dell Latitude 2120, which is going to be my mother's new laptop. And I'm going to install Cloudready from Neverware on it because I really like that operating system. It was really easy to use, and I think it's going to make a great OS for her everyday needs. Now you're probably sitting there wondering, what's the point in this video? Why is he wasting our time? Well, this is going to be more of a personal bloggy video, and I also want to take one of these, tear it down, and replace the hard drive step by step. So if anyone's trying to do the same, they have a comprehensive guide to do so. So we're going to try to do everything in real time. I'll probably make a couple cuts here and there, but I will try to show every step of the process to taking this apart and replacing the hard drive. And of course, here comes the typical disclaimer. I'm not responsible for you. If you destroy your laptop while trying to take it apart, you do so at your own risk. Alright, so as you can see, the laptop is unplugged. Obviously, you want to make sure the laptop is unplugged before you start working on it. Also, you probably want to ground yourself to make sure you don't shock anything in the process of taking it apart. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is remove the battery from the back. So you're just going to slide this off to the side and pull the battery out. That was easy. Step 1. Okay, so step 2, we now need to remove these 4 screws, one on each corner, right here, right here, right here, and right here. Step 3, after removing those 4 screws, we have 2 more screws to remove on the back, which are holding the keyboard in place, and these screws are actually where the battery used to be. So there's 1 screw in here and 1 screw in here. They're also using Phillips head screws, so you can use a Phillips head screwdriver for this as well. You're probably going to want to use a smaller one though, so it can actually fit down into the hole. Alright, sometimes they tend to get stuck in here, and if they do, that's okay. They don't need to be completely out in order to remove the keyboard. So now we're going to open up the laptop and actually take the keyboard out. Step 4, now I'm going to use these 2 tiny little flathead screwdrivers to pry the keyboard out. And you can see this liner right here. You're going to want to pry under this liner. You don't want to pry under the keycaps because you will rip the keycaps off. So be aware of that. You don't want to rip these keycaps off. That's going to make your day a bad day. Can be a little tricky sometimes. There we go. Now zoom out. Just pull up, pull out, but don't pull out too hard because there is a ribbon cable right under here. It is right here, and we are going to disconnect that so we do not rip it in half. Step 5, disconnect the ribbon cable. We're going to take that small flathead screwdriver, get under there, and just pop this little black piece up. There we go. Pull out, and it is disconnected. Step 6, I think we're on now. We have 3 screws to remove that were under the keyboard. One right here, and one right here. Okay, so we are almost done. We have one more step to go, so I'm going to close the top of the laptop, flip it over, and this is where you're going to want to be really careful because plastic pieces tend to break during this step, especially if you are not delicate. This is where I'm actually going to take the back cover and pull it off. So I'm going to grab it by a corner, grab onto the back cover, and try to just tug it off because it's just held in by plastic clips at this point. There you go. And the bottom piece as well. And there you go, the bottom cover has been removed and we now have access to all of the internals. So I'm going to pull these other laptops apart and then I'm going to show you how to replace the hard drive in one of these. The hard drive in these things are on a sort of caddy, so first we need to remove the caddy, and then we need to remove the hard drive from the caddy and put a new one in the caddy, and then put the caddy back into the laptop. So a 4-step process. You can remove the caddy by removing the 4 screws on each corner of the caddy. Releasing the drive from the SATA port, you're going to pull it up. and just take it out. Now, to get the hard drive out of the caddy, or in this case, my 16GB solid state drive, we now need to remove the 4 screws holding it into the caddy. Looks like I was missing one, so I didn't bother to put it in, but there should be 4. One right here, one should have been right here, one right here, and one right here. And now we're going to put the new drive in, which is the exact same process except in reverse. So I'm going to fit it into the drive caddy, replace the screws, and then mount it back into the PC. And there we go, that was pretty easy. Now both of these systems are rocking solid state drives. I have that 16GB Kingspec solid state drive in my mom's machine and that 120GB Silicon Power solid state drive in my machine. I'm waiting for a solid state drive to come in from Amazon. I ordered a 120GB, I think it's an ADATA is what it's called, ADATA, for that Dell Inspiron 15 to take the place of the Silicon Power drive. But these are both ready to be thrown back together, and it's time to install some operating systems now. And just real quick, if anyone was curious, these machines are nearly identical. The only difference is the fact that mine has 2GB of DDR3 RAM and my mother's has 1GB of DDR3 RAM because she really doesn't need 2GB. She's just going to be doing some basic web browsing, checking emails, and 1GB is absolutely sufficient for that. So there are 1 or 2 tips that I want to give you guys for putting this thing back together. The first one is to make sure that the ribbon cable is fully inserted before reinstalling the keyboard. Sometimes it doesn't go in all the way, and then you'll turn the computer on and the keyboard won't work, and then you have to take it all apart again. So just check that. Definitely give that a second look over before you put the keyboard on. And then to get the keyboard on, start from the bottom, like so. There's these little metal tabs. Try to get them to go into their corresponding holes. So we're just going to slide them in. Alright, and now we're just going to push down on the keyboard to reseat it. And your keyboard's back in. So it is the next day. I spent all night installing and configuring operating systems. I almost have everything up and running. The Cloudready machine is ready to go, so that's all done with. And the Windows machine is still in progress, installing some applications I need for school. And I also have Ubuntu 16.04 installed on this as well. And with that, I need to install the proprietary wireless driver in order to get wireless up and running. So I still have a little bit of work to do with this PC, but right now, while this is doing its thing, let's take a look at the Cloudready machine. Performance is actually pretty good. It boots in under 30 seconds, and overall it's very snappy. Now, if you haven't seen last week's Software Sunday video where I took an in-depth look at Cloudready, it basically takes any PC and turns it into an all-out Chromebook. It's a great little operating system for anyone who wants something that's super light and just gets the job done, just something to browse the web with. It's really snappy on this little dual-core Atom machine. As you can see, I'll pop open Chrome here. Opens almost instantly. We'll load up our homepage. There we go. Open up the file manager. That takes a little bit longer to open, but still pretty responsive. And as you can see, we have multitasking capabilities, multi-window capabilities as well with this operating system. Everything's pretty smooth as far as animations are concerned. As you can see, I'll go into settings now. We'll pop open another window with that. So all around the machine is very responsive with this OS installed. And I'll just do some web browsing right now. This does have Flash installed, so we can play back YouTube videos if we really wanted to. The video capabilities on these 2120s aren't great. We're probably just going to be able to play it back in 480p. I'll try to play something back right now. I'm going to navigate to my YouTube channel. So there we go, video in 480p. Playback is actually pretty smooth. We're definitely getting 30 FPS right now. If I try to crank that up to 720p at 60 FPS, I can guarantee you that it's probably going to start to lock up. Now we're probably going to start dropping quite a few frames. Yeah, so that's just not happening. A little bit too much for this PC right now, so we're just going to stick with 480p. So let's navigate to my website. You guys can see how it loads right here. Going to do this in real time, not going to make any cuts. And as you can see, it doesn't take too long at all. Why don't we try to scroll down here? It is still loading, so I'll give it a second. There we go. And yeah, not too bad. Definitely not too bad at all. Totally usable, and it's going to be absolutely adequate for my mom. So that's enough of this. Just going to take a quick look at both of these operating systems running on these PCs. So let's move over to that Windows 10 machine now. Now, I'm really surprised with how good performance is with Windows 10 installed. Overall, the system is very responsive. It took under 30 seconds to boot up to the lock screen. Applications open really fast. As you can see, I'll just start popping open some applications right now. And once again, I do have Ubuntu 16.04 installed on this system, but we're not going to be taking a look at that in this video because I've done that already in like 3 previous videos. And if you want to check out Ubuntu 16.04 running on this machine, I will put the link to that in the description because once again, I've already done it a ton of times. We'll just go into the system, view amount of RAM and processor speeds. You can see the system specifications right here, which I believe I have already read off at this point. I'll open up an instance of Task Manager to see what resources look like. I still have to cut down on some processes, so it's probably not going to be too pretty. Yeah, they're not too bad, but we are using over half our memory, so some stuff could definitely be cut. And once again, I'm going to do that later when I work on configuring this machine a little bit more to my liking. I'll pop open an instance of Chrome right now. There we go. Didn't take too long to open at all. How about a virtual desktop or two? Let's create a new desktop. Desktop 2. That's all fine and dandy. We'll pop open some more applications. And I did install Microsoft Office 365 on this machine. So let me find where the heck that is. There we go. Word 2016. So open that up. We'll type some stuff into the word processor just to see how responsive it is. There we go. Turn on caps lock and we'll go with that good old generic phrase. And it's really awkward to type like this because it's like at an angle. But hello, YouTube. And that is nice and smooth. We'll try to manipulate the font. That's working just fine. 26. Let's change it to Times New Roman. Now, once again, can't type like this. It is super awkward. Oh, yep, I lost it. Anyway, as you saw, that works just fine. And we'll open one more applications. How about we'll open up an instance of PowerPoint along with that instance of Microsoft Word. So that's opening just now. Let's create a blank presentation. And once again, I am zooming through this because I don't want to spend too much time on it. The video is going to get pretty lengthy at this point. We'll just go back to our other desktop at desktop 1. And I'll try to browse the web. I'll go to my website and make sure web browsing works okay. And that's going to be about it. And I had to turn the computer away for a minute because I could not type sideways. It took way too much effort, and I typed my address in wrong like 5 times. So I eventually just gave up and turned the PC towards me. Let me take a look at the camera. Is it coming out okay on there? Yeah, you can see just fine. The web page is loading up just fine, and we'll scroll through here. Scrolling is a little jerky. The video capabilities on this PC aren't super great. And once again, we are running this off a dual-core Atom machine. So that's about what I expected, but it's not too bad. Definitely usable, and I'm pretty happy with performance. Once again, this is going to be perfectly fine for school use, and if something does go wrong or there was a performance issue, I can always go back to Ubuntu 16.04, which is also installed on the system. I really just installed Windows 10 as a precaution because sometimes there's some applications for school that we have to use that won't run on Linux. So in that case, yeah, definitely had to be safe and install Windows because I don't want to be, absolutely screwed at that point. And that's going to be about it for this installment of A Computers and Technology. I'm going to try really hard to get this video edited and uploaded by today because I have chemistry class coming up in a few hours and I'm really not looking forward to it. It runs till like 4 to 9 at night and yeah, that's not going to be too much fun at all. And that's why I was really struggling to get this Latitude 2120 up and running because I do need it for school. Yeah, way to go. I waited till last minute, but hey, I was successful and I have a little bit more configuration to do, but it should be ready to go by the time class starts. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and post a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video. If you didn't like this video, please tell me why. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. And don't forget to drop a like on the Facebook page. By the way, guys, I am going to have another giveaway coming up soon. I think it's going to be for June. IcyDoc sent over some more awesome products, and they requested I use them to throw a little giveaway. So that's exactly what I am going to do. If you want to hear a little bit more about that and actually check out what the products are, it's on my Facebook page. The link for that will be in the description. Go check it out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next installment of A Computers and Technology.